3 depths, 2 years, 1 game. We are a programmer, an artist and a musician from Spain. We have spent the last 2 years developing a game. And we have a bit of a problem. We didn't do any marketing. So let's start. Castella is a tower defense roguelike. Hordes of monsters will come to attack you and you will build a fortress to defend yourself. You will unlock and upgrade many towers. And you will gather resources to grow your defenses. This is a strategic game, so your choices will matter. You can choose from 25 different towers and 30 unique upgrades that change how they behave. There are 17 enemy types, each one with their 4 different variants, and 3 bosses. You can play all of this in 2 different maps that are procedurally generated every time you play. As the map will always be different, we had to make the enemies smart. They will choose the shortest path to your castle. That's why it's very important to build walls. You can try to divert the enemy's course or completely block their path. To build your towers, you first need to gather some resources. These are gold, stone, iron and mana. They will spawn all around the map and you will place mines on top of them. Of course, defending these mines is as important as defending your castle, and the smartest enemies will try to destroy them. The game is quite challenging, so you will probably lose your first games. This is where the roguelike aspect comes. After every game you will get experience. You can use this experience to unlock some permanent upgrades. If you are interested in Castella, please check out our Steam. We will release the game on the 25th of May. Hello, I'm Michael and I'm gonna present you the development of Castella. Before we started working, we had to design everything. The towers and enemies and how they interact with each other. In theory it's simple, but making it an engaging mechanic is complex. The map is very important for Castella as well, as how you defend yourself, what resources you choose to take and defend, and ultimately winning, it's all dependent on what map you're playing. We chose to have procedural generation, as it would give us a lot of replayability, even if it came with a lot of problems and complexity. Let's dig deeper into how the map is made. First, we made the basic tile, and we would configure it differently depending on what other tile they are next to. Some of these tiles are plains, hills, mountains, roads, rivers and woods. All the possible tile combinations were modeled in Blender, and I made some shaders with Unity shader graph so that any possible tile combination would look fine without any errors. Meanwhile, Adrian, our programmer, was quite busy coding. We first instantiate all the map using a grid system, then assign every tile its properties. Even if the map is procedural, there are many things and rules that we add manually. Next, we use the navigation system to create a navigation mesh for the enemies to walk. Apply all the materials and shaders, and finally combine all the meshes so Unity does not have to calculate thousands of tiles, which would ruin the performance. Making the map was the most time-consuming part of our entire game. We had to continue learning through the entire process. And we would make it differently today, but well, considering it's our first game, it's still pretty good. Let's look at towers now. Making the towers and enemies was a combined job. I would first model, animate and texture our models in Blender to import to Unity. Then Adrian would add all the code, colliders, tags, logic and make them work. All towers and enemies have multiple stats, and balancing them, improving them with upgrades, and finally changing them with masteries was very complex. We relied on the scriptable object system of Unity to make this work. Towers have 2 kinds of damage, physical and magical, and also magical is separated into poison, fire, ice, void and electric. Poison, fire and ice also apply different debuffs to enemies. Poison is great for tanky enemies, fire applies lasting burns, and ice slows down enemies. All enemies have different resistance, so they take more or less damage from each tower. We also have utility or economic towers. One is the turret, which comes in 3 sizes and allows you to place all the other physical and magical towers around the map. Then we have mines and generators, which give you resources. Then we have walls. They allow you to block the enemy's path however you want. They are great for simple enemies, but later some special enemies, like the battering ram, will be able to destroy them. Lastly, we have the market to trade resources, and the Adventurers Guild to trade resources for upgrades and masteries. And at last, the enemies. The enemies first spawn with a wave system. This says when and where they spawn and in general configures what enemies will attack you. We made many custom combinations to balance each wave with the game's pace and difficulty. Don't forget that because we have a procedural map, the enemies must also be sort of intelligent. So each enemy looks at the navigation mesh we generated before to know all the possible paths and chooses the fastest one, taking into account roads to go faster and the walls you place to block them. Also, some enemies like the goblin will directly seek to attack your mines and resource buildings, while others like the battering ram will be able to destroy your walls. We also have mini-bosses and bosses that have special abilities. The enemies have more variants when you reach higher levels of the game. They will get stronger, more resistant and faster. When we finished all of this, we decided to partake on a Steam Next Fest and launch a demo trailer. In hindsight, it was better if we waited until the game was in a better state, as we ended up rushing many things. This is also the moment that Omar, our musician, started adding the sound effects and music into the game. After receiving all the feedback from our playtest and the Steam Next Fest, we saw that even if the core gameplay loop was fun, it lacked some depth. So we improved the tower upgrades and started making masteries, which are unique upgrades for each tower that can change completely how they are played and their strategy. We also created a permanent upgrade system. Here you can spend the experience that you earn while playing and spend it on permanent upgrades for all of your towers. A very important part was adding an infinite mode. Even after winning a game, you can continue playing. The enemy waves will get stronger and will scale even more. This is where the real test begins for many players. We also added a wiki inside the game, so you can have all the information that I'm telling you now available to you at all times. I forgot to mention, because I've probably been using the desert and the plains interchangeably, but we also made the desert quite recently. We also added many graphical improvements. For example, a customized post-processing system, new shaders and visual effects for the towers and enemies, a complete redraw of the UI, tooltips that show when you put your mouse over text and images, an animated main menu, a button that shows you all the areas that are defended by your towers. We completely remade the musical system, and a statistics page that shows you how much damage your towers are doing, what upgrades you have chosen already, and a priority button that allows you to tell all the towers of that type to focus on different targets. And lastly, many performance improvements. I know there are many things that I have not mentioned, but they are too many to fit into a single video. I should have started making these sorts of videos 2 years ago, while we were doing the game, but well, there were so many things to do I just didn't have enough time. I will have this in mind for the future. Also, better late than never. I will continue uploading videos like this, explaining even more how our game is made. Oh, by the way, Castella will be released on the 25th of May. If you have reached until this part of the video, please consider visiting our Steam page for Castella. You can find the link in the description. Thanks for watching.